22nd of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora. I'm back.
Okay. Thank you, Lou, for hosting the meeting.
My pleasure. Tomorrow we're back to normal.
Oh, are we back to normal tomorrow? Let's see. Let me just check. Okay, I'll know more tomorrow morning.
Okay, please just send out an email.
We'll send an email. Okay. Very good. Okay, so now let's go back to Rava Rami. Rava Rami, this is the top of Kuf Aleph Amid Base, very top of the page. And oh, there you are, Phil. Very good. Good to see you. Okay. So let's continue. So who do we have here now? We have
just me and Phil.
Okay, so would you like to start the reading, Lou?
Rabbi, just a question with it. Did you remember Jerry? Jerry was on last year too. Then I sent you the email. Jerry Ziering passed away, a nifter, and I sent the email. I mean, together with your wife.
Oh, you sent to my wife's email?
Yeah, because I don't know if I have your email. I only have her email.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so he wants to come in now?
No, he's nifter. He was nifter. I sent you the information on the shiva.
Morch dein Emes.
Right.
Oh. Okay,
so
yeah.
Levitt Sunday, but I sent you the information on the shiva.
Okay, very good. I appreciate that. Wow.
Okay.
So yeah.
Rava Rami. Rava objected. Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah. Beged shetzva'o bik lipe arla yedalek. So a garment was dyed with peels from fruit. It should be set on fire.
Right.
From orla fruit. Alma chazusa milsa he. evidently appearance is a factor. Uraminahi, but compare this Devias, I'm sorry, Revius Dom Shenivla A Beves. So a revius of blood that was absorbed into a house. Habayis tameh. The house is tameh. But Amre lay, and they said, or some say, Habayis tahor. The house is pure. So the comparison is between a garment that's dyed with dye that comes from forbidden fruit, which is puzzle and should be burned up, compared to a house that's sullied by blood from a corpse. I don't get the comparison.
Okay, it's a little bit confusing over here because when Rava says Rami means that he's throwing one brisa against another brisa, which the two of those brisa or Mishnah contradict one another. In this case, what he's done is the first Mishnah in Orla says that Chazusa is milsa, that the appearance is regarded as though it's physically there, it's physically present, that the Orla is physically present there, and then he brings a machlekes and what the din is on the house. Some say the correct din is that the house is tameh, and some say that the correct din in the house is tahor. Now, only one of those two interpretations is going to contradict what it says in the Mishnah in Orla about having to burn up the beged because it has Orla on it, and the stira is because Amrei law, because some say that the correct din is that the bias is tahor, that the house is unaffected by the dam, which is absorbed over there. So, but before we deal with that contradiction, the Gemora first deals with the internal contradiction in the fact that some say the house is tamei and some say the house is tahor. So the Gemara continues with that and says lo pligi between these two views, that one says the house is tamei and one says the house is tahor. And after we deal with that, we're going to get back to the contradiction that Rava posed between the Mishnah in Orla and the view that says that the house is tahor. So that's the anyway. So in any case, right now we've got two Rashis over here. We got two Rashis over here to read.
Okay.
So Phil, would you like to read the Rashis? From the top of the page, Revius Dam.
Okay, Revius of Dam. Mitame Ba'ol. We did this already, but we'll do it again. Mitame Ba'ol. That makes it Tame in a tent, in an oil. Diksiv, because it's written, I'll call Nifashot, mate, on all souls that have died. Lo Yavi, you should not bring. In the pasuk, that's a pasuk in Vayikra, Chafalov.
Yeah.
The dam who and blood who hanefesh. Blood is considered the soul. The kim lahu, and is established the rabbanon to the rabbanon. The revius dam chai. That the amount we're talking about is that if it's a revius of a dam of flowing living blood, not dried up blood. That's what will make make something tummy.
Yeah, interesting over here that Rashi is telling us that where we get to say from this pasuk that the dam of the mace is also metame ba'oel is from the word nafshos. If the pasuk would just have said I'll call mace lo yavo, we only would have known that the mace itself in the oel is metame the oel. But this it says kol nafshos mace, which is seemingly a superfluous word. Well, what does it mean? Kol nafshos mace. Just say mace. Any the mace in the oel, that's what makes the tumah. But from nafshos, we learned that it's not only the mace itself, but even dam, which comes from the mace, is going to also have the din, like the mace itself, of tumas oel, and that's if it has a shear. And the shear, Rashi tells us, is revius of dam chai. Okay, so that takes care of that Rashi. Let's see the next Rashi. Nivla bekarka
Nivla bekarka habayatame. If it's absorbed in the ground, it would be tame. Kalim shababai. We're talking about utensils that are in the house. The bias low mekabel, because with the house it doesn't acquire tuma the karkahi, because it's considered that's considered a karka. So we're talking when we're saying something is going to be tame is going to be the kalim of the things that are going to be tame.
Right. The house, since the house is connected to the ground, it's mechuber lakarka, so it has a din like karka itself, and karka is not mekabel tuma, and so therefore the house itself does not become tameh, but only the kalim, which are in the airspace of the house, they will become tameh from tumas oil. Interesting. The house itself does not become tameh, but everything that's inside of the house does. Interesting din. Okay. All right. So now we're going to read further in the Gemora lo pligi. Roy, would you like to continue?
All right. The lo pligi, and the two texts are not in dispute. Bivalom,
Bekalim.
Oh, hang on, sorry.
The last word of the fourth line.
Yeah. Bekalim, Jehavu, Ma'akara. This text has the reading of Tame, refers to utensils that were in the house originally, That is when the blood was still liquid before it began being absorbed into the floor. Bekalim Da'asu Livsof. Whereas this text has the reading Tahor, refers to utensils that came into the house at the end. That's after the blood had been absorbed.
After the blood has already been absorbed. So according to this, when the blood is already absorbed into the karka of the house, that dam, which is absorbed into the ground, will not make the kalim that have been brought into the house after the dam was absorbed already. Those kalim will not become tameh. Even though the house was an oil which transmitted tuma, as long as the dam was not yet absorbed in the house, those kalim will become tameh. But the kalim that been brought afterwards, they will not become tameh. So that accounts for the two different for the contradiction between the two statements of whether the house is tameh or not. They're not really lo peligi, says the Gemara. They're not arguing with one another. They're describing different cases. Okay, so that takes care of that contradiction. But now the Gemara has to return to the contradiction that Rava himself posed. Now, what is the contradiction here that Rava himself posed? It's between, on the one hand, the Mishnah in Orla that says you got to burn that beged that has the Orla absorbed into it, the dye that was made with the peels of Orla fruit. You have to burn that beged because it according to Rava that stands for the principle that chazusa milsahi, that the appearance of the orla on the beged is a physical reality. It is regarded as though we have klipos of orla there on the beged, and so we can't have that. We can't have benefit from such a beged, so therefore we burn it. So that's contradicting the statements in the Gemora that refers to when the blood gets absorbed into the ground, so then the house is no longer tameh. As though to say, the blood in the ground is not regarded as though it's here physically. It's not regarded as though it's here.
So and the tameh does. Sorry. Yeah.
And that's why those say that the house is tahor. So that's the contradiction that Rava is Rami.
So if the blood goes away, the tahor goes. What do you call it? Goes away.
Tumah.
The tumah goes away.
Yes.
So it's not. So it's not. It's not sort of there and stays there afterwards.
Correct. In other words, we're assuming. In other words, in order to say that the house is tahor, Rava understands that means that we're saying, based upon that din, chazusa is lav milsa, that the appearance of the blood over there absorbed into the ground is not regarded as though the blood is there. It's not regarded as being there. That's why the house is tahor, because it's not regarded as though the blood is there, and that contradicts the Mishnah with the orla, with the beged of orla, that we have to burn that beged, because it's regarded as though the dye of Orla is there on the beged. So that's the contradiction now that Rava is Rami. So now, oh wow, if this is not confusing enough, the Gemora is now going to go to another part of this Mishnah with the blood over here. Okay, we have to hold on to our hats over here. Now we're gonna well, let's see. We have some Rashi. Maybe we'll do the Rashis over here. Bekalim, Divra Maskil, Bekalim. Let's take a look at that Rashi. The last wide line.
Okay, Bekalim, with utensils, the Havi Babayit, that they were in the house, Kodim Shanivla, before it got swallowed up.
Yeah.
Shahaita Bayin, that you need the Ha'il Habayits, that it would be, the tent would be, the house would be overshadowed, a lay on it. Halakalim, and then the Kalim Nitma'u will be Tomei.
Yeah, Shahaita Be'en, that blood, before it becomes absorbed into the ground of the house, it's Be'en. Be'en over here means that it's regarded as being here in a physical sense. It's here. It's blood. So before it's absorbed, it's regarded as being here. Very clearly, very clear to understand how that is so. And therefore, the bias is serving as the oil, and it's ma'ahil. It oils the everything in the house, and that includes the kalim, and that's how the kalim in the house are going to come. They're going to become tamei, ritually impure. And the next Rashi just explains what we mean when we say levasof, the kalim de asu levasof. Want to read that two-word Rashi and explain it?
Besof la'achashem nivla, after it was absorbed.
Right, after it's been absorbed. So now the din is that the house is a tahor, and the kalim that come into the house levasof after it's already been absorbed, those kalim are going to be tahor, because there's nothing to make them tamei. But it doesn't. But it seems like it's a stira, like we said before. It's a stira because why isn't the blood regarded as being there? We're comparing it to the case of the orla that the peels of orla, we could see it there, and that is enough to say that it's there. It's there in a physical sense. Be'en. Okay. So now we're going to try to answer this. Or no, but before we go to that, before we go any further, we're still not answering the question that Rava posed. We're going to now bring from the further on in this case. It seems that it's a Mishnah, actually. You probably have a citation to it over there. It's a Mishnah in, where is this a Mishnah in, actually? Just with the biasing Torah and Tameh.
Shaviz 7:1.
And where?
Shaviz 7:1.
Ah.
Okay, that's the first Mishnah with the beged of the peels of oh no, actually no, I have a different citation. I have a citation for take a look in Masoras Hashas under the letter Aleph. There's an Aleph there's a little aleph next to the word revius dam in the Gemora, and that little aleph there in Rashi script with half of a sograim sends it to the Masorah Shas. He says it's a Gemora in Nida, and it's a Mishnah in Olos. Understandably so. It's a Mishnah in Olos. It talks all about Tumas Oel, Perek Gimel, Mishnah base. So now the Gemara is going to go further with another case in this Mishnah over here in Olos. What happens if the case that we have with this Revius of Dam, it was not nivla into the karka of a house, but it was nivla biksus. It was absorbed in a ksus. Not a sus, not a horse, but a ksus. I beg it. So we call upon Lou, have you read yet?
Yes.
Okay. Alan? Is Alan available?
Yeah, I'm available. Yeah. So what page? 101V2 or
101V1,
1? Okay.
last line.
At the bottom, Robin, contradiction?
Yeah,
Okay. Robert Romay. Robin noted that a contradiction. Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah. Mean so ein from among the dies. Sefiche sotim the kotzor aftergrowth of safflower and road. Yesh lahan should be shavis ula the ma hen shavis are subject to Shemitah sanctity, and the money paid for them is subject to Shemitah sanctity. Yesh lahan they are subject to the requirement of removal, and the money paid for them is subject to the requirement of removal. A law, a seam yesh or hand me shum to chase is evidently wood is subject to Shemitah sanctity.
Oh. I think actually this is the case that with the beged, perhaps that's the case that Rava is using to make a contradiction with the Mishnah in Orla that's also talking about a beged. So we're asking on the case of beged in Orla to the case of beged in Olos. Not like I was saying before that we're proposing a contradiction between the case of the house and the case of the beged. It's easier to understand if we take the case of the beged. The ksus is another word for beged. Okay, so just to repeat over here, for my benefit and everybody else's, hopefully. Further on in this Mishnah in Olos, we have a case of a beged, which is seems to be more similar to the case of the peels of Orla on the beged. So here we've got the Revius of Dam. It's absorbed nivla b'ksus. In other words, in the beged. So how do we look at that? The Mishnah says, "Roin imiskabeses haksus." If we're going to clean the ksus, so now the dam is going to come out of that beged. v'yotzim mimenu revius dam. And if you get out from the cleaning of the beged, if it comes out a shear of revius worth of dam, so then we say tameya. We say that you know what? This is also really a case of the house. In other words, what we have over here is not that the dam got absorbed into the ground, but the dam got absorbed into the beged, and the beged is in the house. You got it? The beged is in the house. So if we can get out, if we can get out a revius of dam from that beged, that means there was actually a revius of dam. There was a shear of revius of dam in that beged, and if so then we say the house is tameya. V'imlav tahira. But if we v'imlav, it's tahira. So now, what we got to do is understand what the stira is, and we are going to go to Rashi. We're going to go to Rashi to explain us what the stira is between this case of the beged with the dam absorbed in it in the house, and the case of the klipa of orla on the beged. Whose turn is it to read Rashi? Lou, you want to read some Rashi?
Okay.
Is it im the sukkos im?
Im miskabeses hakasos v'yotze chimasna.
Yotze hinena.
Shabitachila
Betchila
nivla bo yoter miravis v'hakanas hakasos the base the bias.
Yes. A bias.
Amen. Okay, so if initially there was more than a revis.
Nivlabo. What's nivlabo?
That was absorbed into it.
Right.
More than a revis.
Yeah.
What is this? The hakanis?
The heknis.
It entered into the house.
The heknis. What is the heknis?
He entered it. It's the active verb. He entered it into the house. In other words, he brought it into the house.
The garment. It's tameh.
Habayis tameh, yeah.
So if there's more than a revis of blood absorbed into this garment, and he brings it in that state into the house, then the house becomes tameh.
Right. Right. That's what it's. That's Rashi's rendering of the words of the Mishnah. Interesting that he puts that it had to be, according to that, it had to be that there was even more than a revius that was absorbed into the beged. If we can get out a revius when we wash it, it must have been that there was more than a revius that was absorbed into it initially, says Rashi. And it seems like that's what we need to say in order for the bias to be tameh, because otherwise Rashi wouldn't mention that it's more than a revius. Okay. We have time to do the next Rashi. B'yotze hemenu revius dam.
We got a minute and a half, so we might be cut off, but I'll go until we get cut off.
Okay,
V'yotza chaimena reviis dam. And you can get out of it a revius of blood. She'im yisno mayim b'mida yimtza'u reviis yoter. That if what is the yisnu?
Yitnu, if he gives or places, in the word like litain, if he gives,
if he puts water in an amount that we can get a revius out of it.
Yimsu revius yoter. There will be they'll be found in the beged more than a revius, I guess, of liquid.